minutes. The regrets can last years.
Sometimes you look at a tattoo and you obviously don't want to... You've got to be very diplomatic, which is the hardest part, because you look at some tattoos and you think, you poor thing, what the hell happened to that? And you smile and say, well, I've seen worse. And you just do the best you can for them, and some are terrible.
Bob Jolly runs a tattoo laser removal service in Derby. He says business has never been brisker.
I've had kids coming in that have had tattoos on their wrists, for example, but so low, done by tattoo artists, but so low it's painful they've had to stop. Or they've put names on, they're wonky, or they're misspelt. It's frightening. You're doing good. Pain, you're good with pain.
Bob's clients include people who've had bad artwork and even practical jokes tattooed into their skin. But everyone who visits has one thing in common. They're all unhappy with their ink. So what are you having done today?
Having some bad writing removed at the bottom of my back. People who've never had a tattoo aren't aware that they're going to a bad place and can end up with a right bodge job.
Supposed to be Chinese writing that says my children's name in Chinese with a sun round it, but then I got a Chinese friend that said it said hot lesbian.
Hot lesbian?
Hot lesbian. So it needs to come off.
Almost done.
Tattooists use a device which works in a similar way to a sewing machine. One or more needles pierce the skin. With every puncture, the needle inserts tiny drops of ink. And because it breaks the skin, if hygiene is poor, tattooing carries serious health risks.
To be registered as a professional tattooist by the council, all you need is wipeable floors, an autoclave to sterilise your equipment, wipeable surfaces, powderless gloves. That is literally all they'll want to see.
Artist Kevin Paul from Derby has tattooed some big celebrity names. He's convinced the current system makes it too easy for rogue tattooists to get away with bad practice. So there's no training involved?
None, no. Like, I've had 3 studios, never have they ever asked to look at any work that me or any other artist that in that studio has ever done. They've never asked to look at machines. They've never asked for us to set it up so they could see how it works, that we're doing it properly. None of it. Never asked anything like that at all.
Kevin's put me in touch with Gemma Hardy, who had a scary experience when her tattoo became infected.
I went to a local tattooist here in Derby. I'd come up with a big design. It was going to be a sort of plant flower bulb that looked like it was coming out of my skin. Went in for the session and I had a 3-hour session, which I have to say was quite painful. I've had quite a few tattoos and it's the first one I've had where I thought, wow, that's pretty bad. But went home and looked after it like I'd looked after all my tattoos, but woke up the next day and my foot was 2 to 3 times the size it had been the day before.
Gemma contacted the studio which carried out the work. They dismissed her concerns, claiming her tattoo was on a sensitive area and this was a normal reaction. Things became so painful and inflamed, Gemma admitted herself to hospital.
At its worst, the day I walked into the hospital, they diagnosed me there and then with septicemia, so blood poisoning.
Is this person still tattooing in Derby then?
They are, yeah.
Gemma asked us not to contact the tattoo studio responsible. She's concerned about reprisals.
There's so many bloodborne diseases that you're at risk of. You can get really bad infections, really sore inflamed, just not healing properly. You name it, like, we see it all the time.
Besides infection and poor design, there are other concerns. The law states no tattoos if you're under 18. In reality, the age limit is often being ignored.
I was 14 at the time and I just saw this design that I really liked. And it was a matter of being the first one at school to have one. So I went to somebody that obviously did underage, and he was a trainee, and it's not the best.
What's wrong with it?
Well, it's all raised and bumpy, the ink's not black, and the lines aren't very straight.
You were 14 at the time, were there no questions asked?
No.
I was 15 years old when I had my first one, yeah. It was just a question of paying them the money, that's what they were interested in. Realistically, it was pretty bad of him to do that.
What's added to the problem are DIY tattoo guns you can buy on the internet. Back at the laser removal service, Anna Sims knows only too well how home tattooing can lead to long-term regrets.
I had them done by an ex. He did it with a kit that he bought off the internet, and they're ones that haven't gone in properly, and I certainly don't want on me anymore, so.
What do you think looking at it now?
I just think it's a mess really. The way that it's been done and the lack of professionalism in it was not a good idea. That's why I'm having them removed.
I mean, some tattoos come in and they look like somebody's taken a biro and just done a scrawl. A little while ago I had a mother and father bringing their 17-year-old son in who'd fallen asleep at a party, and their friends decided to try and draw something on the back of his neck.
Ironically, while the current rules and regulations governing the tattoo industry are pretty lax, using a laser to remove them isn't properly regulated either. Derby tattooist Kevin Paul has started his own campaign to try and clean up the industry. He's taken